The rain fell hard that night, pounding against the rusted walls of an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. Inside, a single flickering light bulb swung from the ceiling, illuminating a floor smeared with dried blood. Somewhere in the distance, faint sirens wailed, barely audible over the storm. This was the world agent Marcus Kane was about to enter. A world of violence, betrayal, and darkness so deep it would swallow him whole. Marcus wasn't just any FBI agent. He was the kind of man you send when there's no one else left to call. For years, a cartel known as La Sangre had terrorized 3 states, leaving behind bodies, smuggling weapons, and flooding the streets with drugs. Their leader, Santos Vega, was a ghost, untouchable, unpredictable, and utterly ruthless. Every attempt to bring him down had failed. That's when the FBI turned to Marcus. At FBI headquarters, Marcus stood silently in the briefing room, staring at the photos pinned to the wall: victims, cartel members, crime scenes. Rebecca Cole, the head of the operation, spoke in a low, urgent voice. "Marcus, we've been chasing these monsters for 5 years, and they've always been one step ahead. The only way to destroy them is from the inside. You'll go undercover. No backup, no extraction plan. If you get burned, we'll disavow you." Marcus's jaw tightened. He knew what this meant. Once he stepped into Santos Vega's world, there was no coming back. "If I do this," Marcus said quietly, "I'll need a new name, a new life." Rebecca slid a forged ID across the table. The name read Victor Cruz. With that single piece of plastic, Marcus ceased to exist. Victor was born. Victor Cruz's first night inside the cartel's world was a baptism of fire. He walked into a dim, smoke-filled nightclub that pulsed with heavy bass, a place where danger hung in the air like a living thing. The cartel's men watched him with cold, suspicious eyes. To prove himself, Marcus staged a daring move. He hijacked a rival gang's shipment and personally delivered it to Santos Vega. Santos, a towering figure with a snake-like smile, studied Marcus for a long moment before clapping him on the back. "You've got guts, Victor," Santos growled. "Around here, guts keep you alive." Marcus forced a grin, hiding his disgust. Every fiber of his being wanted to take Santos down right then and there, but he knew patience was key. Weeks turned into months as Marcus climbed the ranks of the cartel. Every day blurred into a nightmare of violence and secrecy. He watched innocent families terrorized, informants executed without hesitation, lives destroyed for profit. The deeper he went, the more Marcus felt Victor Cruz taking over. He sent intel to the FBI in encrypted bursts, always careful to avoid detection. But one night, while scanning a cartel ledger, Marcus froze. At the top of a list of secret payments was a name he never expected: Lily Vega, Santos's younger sister. She was rumored to be held hostage by the cartel, a helpless pawn in her brother's deadly game. Marcus frowned, whispering to himself, why would they be paying her? Unless... He pushed the thought aside. Lily was supposed to be innocent. Marcus finally met Lily in a secluded room guarded by Santos's men. She was delicate, soft-spoken, her wide eyes filled with sadness. "You're Victor, right?" she whispered. "My brother. He trusts you." Marcus's voice softened. "I'm here to help you, Lily. I'll get you out of this, I promise." Lily gave him a faint, trembling smile before looking away. To Marcus, she was a symbol of purity in a world drowning in corruption. What he didn't see was the flash of something far more dangerous in her gaze. A spark of calculation. The time for action came at last. Marcus gathered enough evidence to dismantle the cartel completely. FBI agents prepped for a massive sting operation as Marcus transmitted the final location of Santos's largest shipment. Over comms, Rebecca's voice rang out, full of pride. "Once we take Santos down, Lily will be placed under federal protection." "Marcus, you did it." Marcus exhaled, relief washing over him. He was ready to end this nightmare. The raid exploded in a storm of chaos. FBI agents stormed the compound under cover of darkness. Gunfire echoed, men screamed, and Marcus's cover was blown as Santos realized the truth. "You were never one of us, Victor," Santos roared, charging at Marcus with a knife. The two men clashed in a brutal fight, ending with Santos bloodied and in handcuffs. As agents led Santos away, Marcus turned to see Lily standing amidst the chaos, tears streaming down her face. He approached her carefully, wrapping a protective arm around her shoulders. "It's over," he whispered. "You're free now." 2 days later, back at FBI headquarters, Marcus began his debriefing. Rebecca entered with a grim expression, holding a folder. "Marcus," she said carefully, "there's something you need to see." Marcus opened the file and froze. Inside were photographs of recently laundered money transfers. Each was signed with the same initials, LV. Marcus's voice cracked. "No, that's impossible. She was a prisoner." Rebecca's eyes were cold. "That's what she wanted you to think." Far away, in a luxurious penthouse overlooking the city, Lily Vega sat at a grand table, her demeanor transformed. Gone was the fragile, helpless girl. In her place sat a cold, calculating queen. A cartel lieutenant knelt before her, trembling. "The FBI thinks they've won," he said nervously. "Santos is in prison." "What are your orders, Senora Vega?" Lily's lips curled into a wicked smile. "Exactly as planned. My brother was reckless. Now they'll never see me coming." She raised a glass of wine, toasting her victory as the city lights reflected in her dark eyes. Marcus's mind reeled as flashbacks flooded in. The subtle smiles, the cryptic words, the ledger he'd ignored. She hadn't been a victim. She'd been using him from the start. "She played me?" Marcus whispered, horror dawning on his face. He burst into Rebecca's office. "She's still out there, and she's 10 times smarter than Santos ever was. If we don't stop her now, she'll burn this country to the ground." Rebecca shook her head. "Marcus, she's gone. No leads, no trace. She's a ghost." Marcus slammed his fist on the desk, consumed by rage and guilt. Meanwhile, at a crowded international airport, Lily walked calmly through security, blending seamlessly with tourists. She paused only briefly to hand a piece of candy to a crying child. As she disappeared into the crowd, the candy wrapper fell to the floor. It bore a strange symbol, the mark of her new empire. To the world, the narrator's voice whispered, dark and haunting, Lily Vega was a victim, a fragile flower caught in her brother's crimes. But Marcus learned too late that appearances are the deadliest lies of all. And as Lily vanished into the night, one chilling truth remained. The most dangerous predator is the one you never see coming. The camera zoomed in on Lily's cold, triumphant smile as she boarded a private jet. The cold night air was sharp against Marcus Kane's face as he stood on the rooftop of the FBI headquarters, staring out at the city below. It had been 3 weeks since the raid that brought down Santos Vega, the notorious cartel leader. 3 weeks since Marcus's world had been turned upside down by a single horrifying truth. Lily Vega, the woman he thought he had saved, the fragile soul he risked everything for, wasn't a victim at all. She was the real mastermind. Inside his mind, the moment replayed like a nightmare. Lily's tearful eyes as she begged for help, her trembling voice as she clung to him, whispering that her brother was the monster. Every second of it had been a performance. Marcus clenched his fists until his knuckles turned white. "I was her weapon," he muttered through gritted teeth. "She used me to destroy Santos, to remove her last obstacle. And now she's free." Rebecca Cole, his superior and one of the few people he still trusted, appeared behind him. "Marcus," she said softly, "you need to get some rest." Marcus turned, his face shadowed with rage. "Rest? While she's out there, building something even worse than Santos's empire. She played us all, Rebecca. We're already 3 steps behind." Rebecca's tone was firm, but fear tinged her words. "We have no trail." She covered her tracks too well. Right now, Lily Vega doesn't exist. But Marcus refused to accept that. He had spent months living as Victor Cruz, infiltrating a world of death and deceit. He knew how these people thought, how they moved. And Lily, as clever as she was, had one fatal flaw. She loved to leave messages. Hidden signatures, cryptic clues, always just subtle enough to go unnoticed. Marcus had seen one before, in the form of a strange symbol stamped on a candy wrapper left at an airport. At the time, he dismissed it as coincidence. Now he knew better. Days later, Marcus sat alone in a dingy motel room, walls covered with maps, photos, and scribbled notes. Strings connected locations like veins on a spider's web. His eyes were bloodshot from lack of sleep. Every piece of evidence pointed to one terrifying conclusion. Lily was forming a global network, an operation far bigger than Santos's cartel had ever been. She wasn't just moving drugs or weapons. She was buying politicians, controlling information, and pulling the strings of chaos itself. In a remote part of South America, Lily Vega stood at the head of a long wooden table inside a lavish jungle compound. Around her sat warlords, corrupt officials, and mercenaries. No longer hiding behind the image of a helpless sister, she radiated power and control. "Gentlemen," she said with a chilling calmness, "Santos's fall was just the beginning. The FBI thinks they've won, but while they celebrate, we will grow. They will chase ghosts while we build an empire." Her voice turned cold, her eyes glinting like ice. "And when we are ready, we will strike." The men around the table nodded, some fearful, others eager for blood. Lily raised her glass. "To the New World Order," she whispered. Back in the US, Marcus pieced together Lily's plan. One night, as he studied flight records, he spotted a pattern. Private jets arriving in 3 specific cities every month. He cross-referenced the dates with recent spikes in violent activity. His stomach dropped. "She's not just hiding," he said aloud. "She's recruiting." He rushed to Rebecca with his findings, slamming a folder on her desk. "She's building a syndicate that spans continents. If we don't stop her now, she'll be untouchable." Rebecca's face paled. "Marcus, even if you're right, we can't move without solid proof. If you go rogue again, you'll be on your own." Marcus's voice was steady but filled with fury. "I've been on my own since the day she lied to me. I don't care about protocol. I care about stopping her." That night, Marcus tracked Lily's network to a high-end gala in Dubai, a glittering event attended by the world's elite. Posing as a wealthy arms dealer, Marcus slipped past security, his eyes scanning the crowd for her. The ballroom sparkled with chandeliers, laughter, and clinking glasses. Amid the glamour, he spotted her. Lily Vega, draped in a crimson gown, her beauty as disarming as ever. She laughed softly, surrounded by powerful men who hung on her every word. Marcus's heart pounded. Memories of their time together flooded back. The moments he thought were real, the nights they spent planning Santos's downfall. Now he saw it all for what it was, manipulation. As he moved closer, Lily's eyes suddenly met his across the room. For the briefest moment, surprise flickered in her expression. Then she smiled, a slow, knowing smile. Before Marcus could react, the lights in the ballroom went out. Panic erupted. Gunshots rang out, and Marcus dove for cover as chaos consumed the gala. When the lights flickered back on, Lily was gone. In her place, a single red envelope lay on the floor. Marcus grabbed it and tore it open. Inside was a single piece of paper with a message scrawled in elegant handwriting. "Catch me if you can, Victor." Marcus's hands shook as he read the name. Not Marcus, not Agent Kane. Victor. She was mocking him, pulling him back into the role he had tried so hard to escape. The next scene was a nightmare. Marcus discovered that the blackout at the gala was just a distraction. While the world's attention was on Dubai, Lily's forces had attacked 3 major cities simultaneously, leaving hundreds dead. News footage showed burning streets, terrified civilians, and governments scrambling to respond. Lily hadn't just vanished. She had declared war. Marcus knew this was no longer about justice. It was personal. She had stolen his identity, his mission, and his life. And now she was threatening the entire world. In a hidden safe house, Lily watched the chaos unfold on a massive screen. She leaned back in her chair, sipping wine, as her lieutenant approached nervously. "Senora Vega," he stammered. The attacks were successful, but the Americans will come for you. Lily's laugh was cold and cruel. Let them come. By the time they find me, their own leaders will already belong to me. She turned to face a camera, recording a message meant for one person only. Hello, Victor, she purred. I hope you enjoyed our little game tonight. You thought you could save me, but I never needed saving. You thought you could destroy me, but I've only just begun. Every move you make, every breath you take, you'll be playing my game. And when you finally catch me, you'll realize it was me who led you there. The recording ended with Lily's chilling smile, a look of pure dominance. Marcus watched the video in silence, his body trembling with rage. This ends now, he growled. I don't care what it takes. I'm going to hunt her down. Rebecca placed a hand on his shoulder, her voice heavy with warning. Marcus, listen to me. She knows you better than anyone. She'll predict every move you make. Marcus's eyes burned with determination. Then I'll do the one thing she doesn't expect. I'll stop thinking like Marcus Kane and start thinking like Victor Cruz. The final moments unfold in utter darkness. Private jet sits on a rain-soaked runway. Inside, Lily reclines in luxury, a glass of champagne in her hand. Suddenly, her smile fades. She senses something. Outside, a lone figure approaches the plane, hidden in the shadows. Is Marcus? Or is it Victor now? The screen cuts to black just as the figure reaches the steps. A single line appears on the screen. In a game of masks and lies, only one can survive. In the war between hunter and prey, truth is the first casualty. Marcus thought he was saving the world. Lily knew she was reshaping it. And in the end, appearances weren't just deceiving, they were deadly. The rain poured down in relentless sheets, drenching the airstrip in a haze of mist and darkness. The private jet's engines roared to life, ready to whisk Lily Vega away into the shadows once more. Inside, she sat calmly, her crimson lips curling into a faint smirk as she swirled a glass of champagne. She had won again, or so she believed. Outside, a lone figure moved like a phantom, blending into the darkness. Marcus Kane, or Victor Cruz, as Lily had named him in her mocking letter, stood at the foot of the plane, his heart pounding in his chest. This was his moment. Months of pain, betrayal, and obsession had led him here. As he placed a silencer on his pistol, he whispered to himself, "This ends tonight." The cabin door opened, and Lily stepped into the doorway, her silhouette illuminated by the dim runway lights. For a heartbeat, the two locked eyes through the rain. Lily's smirk widened. "Victor," she purred, her voice cutting through the storm. "I knew you couldn't resist following me." Marcus raised his weapon. "You destroyed everything. Santos, the cartel, the people who trusted me. You used me like a pawn. But now it's over." Lily's laugh was soft and chilling. "Oh, darling, it's never over. You think you've been chasing me, but you've been running my maze the entire time. Even this moment, I orchestrated it." Before Marcus could respond, a sniper's bullet cracked through the air, striking the tarmac beside him. He dove for cover as Lily's mercenaries emerged from the shadows, guns blazing. Marcus fired back, taking down two men before sprinting toward the plane. Lily vanished inside, and the engines roared louder. Marcus leapt onto the boarding stairs just as the jet began to taxi. Inside the cabin, a brutal hand-to-hand fight erupted between Marcus and Lily's elite guard. The jet shook violently as it sped down the runway. Marcus fought with desperation, every punch fueled by rage and heartbreak. Finally, he burst into the main cabin where Lily waited, calm and composed, as if the chaos around her was nothing more than background noise. "You should have stayed in the shadows, Victor," she said smoothly. "You were never meant to survive this game." Marcus aimed his gun at her, his finger trembling on the trigger. "You're right," he growled. "Victor Cruz was never meant to survive. But Marcus Kane, he's here to finish this." Before he could fire, Lily pressed a hidden button on the armrest. A trapdoor beneath Marcus's feet opened, sending him plummeting into darkness. He crashed into a cargo bay below, dazed and bruised. By the time he climbed out, The jet had lifted off into the stormy night sky, leaving him stranded on the airstrip as sirens wailed in the distance. As Marcus staggered to his feet, Rebecca Cole's voice shouted through his earpiece. "Marcus, we tracked the signal. Are you alive?" Marcus spat blood, his voice hoarse. "She's gone. Again. But I'm done reacting, Rebecca. It's time I became the hunter." Meanwhile, high above the clouds, Lily sat in her private suite aboard the jet, staring at a digital map glowing with red dots scattered across the world. Each dot represented one of her operations, a global network of chaos. Her lieutenant approached nervously. "Senora Vega, the plan for next week's strike is ready. The world won't know what hit them." Lily's eyes glittered with ambition. "Good. Let the governments fight each other while we move in. By the time they realize what's happening, they'll already be ours." She paused, her smile fading slightly. "And Marcus, dear sweet Marcus, he's still out there. I almost admire him." She raised her glass. "Almost." Back at a hidden safe house, Marcus studied Lily's patterns. He realized she wasn't just building a cartel. She was creating chaos to cover her rise to power. Her attacks were distractions, each one drawing resources away from her true target. A summit of world leaders scheduled to take place in Paris. If she succeeded, global stability would crumble overnight. Marcus reached out to Rebecca with his discovery. "She's planning to strike the summit. It's her endgame." Rebecca's voice trembled. "Marcus, you don't have the authority to move on this. The governments won't listen without proof." Marcus's response was ice cold. "Then I'll do it alone." The next scene cuts to the glittering city of Paris. The summit is underway, with leaders from across the globe gathered under the watchful eyes of elite security forces. Unbeknownst to them, Lily's operatives are already in position, disguised as caterers, security guards, and staff. Marcus infiltrates the venue, disguised as a member of Lily's network. Every step he takes is filled with tension. One wrong move and the entire mission will implode. He finally spots Lily on a balcony overlooking the summit floor. She's radiant, draped in black silk, her expression calm and deadly. Through his earpiece, Rebecca whispers, "Marcus, this is your last chance to pull out." Marcus whispers back, "Not until I end this." Suddenly, an explosion rocks the building. Screams erupt as panic spreads. Lily uses the chaos to make her move, pressing a detonator that seals the exits. Marcus realizes with horror that this isn't just an assassination attempt. It's a trap designed to frame him. Cameras capture his face as alarms blare. Lily's voice echoes through the building over the PA system. "Ladies and gentlemen, meet the man responsible for your destruction. Victor Cruz." Marcus's heart pounds. She's turned the world against him. Agents storm the building, hunting him like prey. Meanwhile, Lily slips away in the confusion, leaving Marcus with a choice. Save the world leaders or chase her. Marcus makes his decision. He fights through Lily's mercenaries, reaching the summit floor just in time to stop a second bomb. As he defuses it, his eyes catch a final clue. A small pendant Lily deliberately left behind. Engraved on it is a single word, "Checkmate." The bomb is stopped, but Lily escapes once again. Outside, the media swarms, broadcasting Marcus's face worldwide as the prime suspect in the attack. Governments issue international warrants for his arrest. Marcus has gone from hero to fugitive overnight. As he flees through the dark streets of Paris, Marcus swears vengeance. "You can frame me, Lily. You can make the world believe I'm a monster. But I know who you are, and I will end you." The final scene shifts to Lily aboard a yacht in the Mediterranean, sipping wine as fireworks explode in the distance. A news broadcast plays on a nearby screen, showing Marcus's wanted poster. Lily laughs softly, almost wistfully. "Oh, Victor," she murmurs, "you're playing my game perfectly, and when you finally find me, you'll realize you've been my greatest creation all along." The screen fades to black. To be continued in the final chapter, Part 2. In a world built on lies, even the hero can become the villain. Marcus thought he was saving the world, but Lily knew better. because in her game, victory isn't about surviving. It's about control, and she's already holding all the pieces. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel so you don't get to miss out on what's up next.